It's the mom life.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Living in the Moment with B and Steph. And so Steph is still out, but we welcome back Daisy.
Hi, guys.
Yay, I was so happy when I was like, "Do you want to be our celebrity host?" And she's like, "Yeah, sign me up." So super exciting to have her back, guys. And today we actually wanted to touch base on should kids have chores? And I mean, I did see a statistic, you know me, I like to look things up, but this is another Harvard study that I found, and they did a study on 454 children in inner city Boston. They followed them for 70 years, and what they found is that those with the highest self esteem had chores growing up, or they had jobs and responsibilities as children. And again, this is going back to the 70s and 80s. So kids, you know, when they were 10 back then, they were doing like newspaper routes. So things like that. But a majority of them did say they had household chores and responsibilities. And so, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think kids should have chores?
I do think that structure is important for kids, for children. Obviously, age appropriate chores, right? You don't want,
Right.
kids overdoing it. I think it's really important to have some sort of structure. While I also do think that play is very important. But let's be real, our toddlers now just want to do what we're doing.
Right.
So if
Right.
I've started to hand Lily my like the smaller pieces of laundry to put into the dryer, or from the dryer to the laundry basket, or simple things like that. My favorite that she just recently started doing is, instead of me just throwing her clothes into the hamper across the room, I get her off of her changing table and I hand them to her and I say, "Here, babe,
Oh, that's
go put it
cute.
in your hamper." And she goes all happy, and then she puts it in and she turns around and claps, and simple things, age appropriate things.
Yes,
I
and
think it's
I do
important.
something, yeah, I do something similar with JJ, and same thing. I think chores are a positive thing as soon as they're physically capable of doing, like you said, something that is that suits their age. And so like for JJ, we do just a few things, not much. He's a little under 2.5. And so I change his diaper. We're still learning potty training. And I change his diaper. And as soon as we're done, I give it to him. And I'm like, "You got to handle your own business, boy." And sure enough, he takes it to the trash can. He's learned to put his little foot on the bottom. He opens it and he throws his diaper.
Yeah.
Another thing, and this is like a habit I'm trying to break, but he's in his terrible twos. And so he gets pens and markers, and like yesterday he got markers and he scribbled all over our carpet, he scribbled all over our wall, our doors. And my husband and I were in our laptops doing something, and it literally, we were only not looking at him for maybe 10 minutes, and I had marker everywhere. And this is not the first time
10
JJ
minutes is
has
a
done
long
this.
time with a
Yeah.
toddler.
Oh my God, he was running rampant. And I saw him coming back and forth from his room to our room. And I thought I saw him with toys, but no, he was also coloring. He was just, yeah. And so
It was a free for
my
all.
little, yeah, my little Picasso, but I did have him. I'm like, "Nope, we're going to clean it up together." And so there we are, scrubbing the wall and scrubbing the floor together. I even have a video. It's so cute. But I show him, if you make a mess, you need to help pick up. And that includes putting toys away, that includes putting his books back in his bookshelf. But outside of that, I don't have him doing big chores. I mean, it feels fun to him. Like you said, even the laundry, he gets so excited when I'm doing laundry that he runs and tries to put things in the dryer. So it's fun with him, or it feels fun for him to feel a part of the family and like he is contributing.
Right. And I think, like for my sister, she taught her kids to do laundry, at a pretty young age. Um, and they all were doing their own laundry by middle school, probably earlier than that, they were doing their own laundry. And I think, again, just a form of structure. It kind of helps you, it helps them, for their future. And then, again, if you have one, two, or three or four kids, I think teaching them little things like that is very important, to help run your household. And then also for them to know something, for them to know once they move out, right? So,
Right, because I do feel that family is their first introduction to society and how society works, right? Even in our own, I say our own little government and how things kind of function. And so teaching them chores is just showing them to contribute, right? To be an equal contributor to where you live. And I think that's very important. I've read many studies that say that if children, or if you do everything for your child, that not only do you make them lazy and entitled, but you're also killing their self-esteem. And I feel like I've said that before because I've read that so many times, but you're taking away their self-value, you are taking away their self-esteem, and you're taking away their family value as a contributor. And so I
Well,
think,
it also almost makes them incompetent, right? Like
right.
in the daily aspects of life, like teaching them to do their laundry or throw the trash or maybe clean up after yourself, wash your dishes, things like that are things that they're going to need in life. They're going to need to know these things to function and to have a healthy family and to have, if they choose to have a family or to have a healthy lifestyle. um you don't, I don't think people, I mean, I don't know studies or anything, but I don't think people thrive in a dirty environment. And if you don't teach them how to do these things, ultimately that's what happens, right? Just some organization, some controlled chaos is nice, right? So
Yes. Yes, like you said, it does take away their sense of competence, and it also takes away building work ethic. And so again, you're just making them a team player. And so I think overall it's good. I wouldn't say that chores should be seen as a form of punishment. It should be more of, this is just how life is. These are things that we just need to do. I feel like growing up, that's kind of changed because my mom was really good, but I had an uncle who was extremely strict. And whenever anyone got in trouble, because we all lived like in one house at one point, he we had punishments that, chores were our punishments. And so a lot of people hated that. And now I feel we've kind of moved our generation into like little singy songy Disney family where we're all just
yeah, little
cleaning
musicals.
together.
It's
Yes,
little
or just
musicals going on all the time.
right. And I feel like the kids are thriving on it. And again, this is us, our perspective, as obviously we've been children, but also we have toddlers right now. And it seems to be working for me. I mean, JJ likes being a part of everything I do. I sweep and he goes behind me and sweeps with his little window squeegee. I've said that before. I have one, and I have my push broom and he uses that as his push broom. And anything I do, he just wants to be a part of it. And I love it.
Yeah, I actually just got Lily her little set of like broom and mop and things like
Oh,
that so that she can
cute.
be with us, because my mom has one at her house. And whenever my mom's sweeping or cleaning, Lily loves to be right there, just doing it with
Oh,
her. And, we're working on it now, like now that she's getting, she's just over a year and a half. And now, like, trying to teach her, let's clean up a little bit in the middle of the day or something. And again, it's kind of helps you keep your peace too, because at the end of the
right,
day, it's not a disaster, or as big a disaster, I guess, so that you have to clean up as a mom. But I also do think it's important for balance, because I do
right,
know people, friends, family that have come from a background of heavy chores. Basically, they were doing chores from the time they got out of work or school, excuse me, to till the time it was time to eat dinner and go to sleep. And they just have a lot of resentment, and they are just like, oh, I hate doing that. And now, like, it's just like a procrastination thing, like, yeah, I know I got to throw the trash out, or I know I have to clean up. And they're like, that's all I ever did. I didn't get to play. I didn't get to enjoy my childhood. I didn't get to enjoy my adolescence. And I think that's damaging too. You just have to have a balance, of things, and allow children to play, whether they're 1, 6 months, a year and a half, or 16. I think it's important to allow that time to let them be kids, let them be adolescents, let them learn other ways as well. So, you
yeah.
know,
I don't even think, and again, I say think because I'm a new mom, and this could change as my child gets older. But even just, I don't think that children should get paid for chores. I don't even think, to be honest, that children should get paid for grades because we all learn differently. And like I will say, my brother and I had really good grades growing up. That didn't mean that he was not as smart as me. I was just more book smart. He was smart in so many other ways. He's always been successful in his own right. Um, but I think it always stuck with him, like in terms of grades. And I'm going a little bit off topic, but I feel like he always looked at it like, oh, my sister's just smarter because I would get paid for grades and I would get more money. And I feel like that was a little detrimental to him. But even for chores, because you're paying them to do something that is their responsibility, right? Or contributing to your family is a responsibility. It's a shared responsibility between everyone. And that's, again, that's how I feel. If that works for you, great, good for you. Again, I'm a new parent, and this is just what I think going into parenthood and the swing of things. And back to like what you said, it shouldn't feel, detrimental, hard chores or heavy chores, because like I said, my uncle would literally, it would be like storming outside, or it would be whatever, and he's like, go do yard work. And so a lot of my cousins hate yard work because of
Yeah.
it. Like it just stayed with them forever. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
A funny story on like the grades, kind of getting off topic here, but I remember at one point we didn't get paid, we didn't get allowance, like we weren't, we weren't paid for grades, we weren't paid to do chores, we weren't paid to do any of that, although I don't remember like truly having like assigned chores. My mom would just be like, clean your room or make sure the kitchen's clean when I get home or whatever it may be, right? And there
It
we
was just
were,
life.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
there we were seeing her drive up and we all run to go start doing whatever we were supposed to do that day, right? Have clean before she got home, and
Oh, the
you know,
90s.
yeah. But they knew we weren't doing anything all day long until we saw their car in the window, um,
Mm-hmm.
but there was a time that I was like, Mom, all my friends get paid for grades or get paid for this. I said, what if you pay me X amount for A's and so much amount for B's and la 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 la? And she was like, are you crazy? How much money do you think we have? Like, we're not
Right.
doing that. And I was like, well, why not? Give me motivation to get A's. And she's like, you should be getting A's anyway. And I was like,
Right.
okay, fine, whatever. Like, yeah, my mom was like, that's not going to fly. Same thing with chores. We didn't get paid for chores. We just did what we had to do, and you know my room
Yeah,
was
I think
never clean, but it was my problem.
yeah, and if there's consequences, like my mom would say, clean your room or you're going to get in trouble. And I had to have my room clean, and my brother and I took turns doing dishes. You ask my husband, him and his brothers, four boys, they all took turns doing dishes too. Now as a grown man, he hates dishes. He won't do dishes. Um but again, we he does exterior, I do interior. That's what works for us. But I feel like chores are just a healthy part of growing up,
Mm-hmm.
in your own little society that you call
Right.
home. Like
Right.
contribution is big in this world. And if all we care about is what's going to benefit us, and that's how I see getting paid for chores or getting paid for grades, again, I would always make more than my brother. And I never looked at how that affected him until we got older. And so I think we all bring some kind of different contribution, and it should be celebrated as a team and not, oh, you're higher than or you're smarter than. Or
Right.
and so
Right.
yeah, I'm a big believer that kids should do chores. And that's where I stand for now. Let's see how the rest of the years go as
Yeah, let's
JJ's
see as
being
they get
raised.
older, right? Like how we handle that. um
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's cute though to give them a little bit of structure and just kind
Age
of
appropriate
routine,
chores.
routine, like, hey, we just changed you, go ahead and go put this in the hamper. Or um the diaper thing too, she's just recently started, like, I changed her diaper and she asked me for her diaper so that she can go throw it in the trash. And we have a diaper genie, so she knows she has to put her foot down to try to open it. Now she's not strong enough to push it yet, but she tries. And I think, again, that's all just part of routine and a little bit of structure and kind of introducing her to some chores, some little tiny responsibilities, if that's what you want to call them,
I
right?
will say routine and boredom are so essential to childhood. Like, I will stand on that box forever, especially boredom, because I feel that's when you are your best, where all your creativity comes out, where you learn about yourself and your hobbies. And it's not like kids that are constantly given something to like be quiet, and you don't even let their
Mm-hmm.
brain rest. I feel like some of
Right.
my best times growing up was being so bored at home, and then picking up a book or picking up my pen and writing poems or whatever it is, but you find out who you are, and
Right.
boredom and routine are big,
Yeah, it
because
makes
then you,
your brain work a little bit more. Especially now,
yes,
everything is just so screen driven that it's so hard to get
well,
children to want anything other than a screen. Even
right,
now, like even now, we do have a tablet for Lily, and it's it's so hard because some days it's like, here, we need to get something done, so I give her the
right.
tablet. But then um most days if we're home, I try not to take it out. I try to leave it where she can't see it and she kind of forgets about it, so that
It's
she can
about
play in her
balance.
kitchen, and she can play, like pretend to clean, pretend to do all, whatever it is that she wants to do. So
Yeah, so JJ does a lot of play. He he'll like get his dinosaurs. He does Ninja Turtles, Thundercats. He does a lot of things like that, and he plays a lot. And we've actually had family members telling us they never saw their kids doing that. They never saw their kids like interacting with their toys and having such a wild imagination. And yeah, I'm like, I turn off the TV and I just let him be a kid. Like, this is your time where things are magical, where your whole world should be imagination, and not just stuck to the screen. But I will say, I do put TV on. That's how he knows about Thundercats, right? That's how he knows about Ninja Turtles. But it's about balance. And
right.
I don't think any mom should feel bad to what works for them. Every situation is different. Um,
Yeah.
but but balance, routine, boredom, those are key part of a healthy, structured childhood, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion too. I think structure is important. Just as play, right? Um, you know, Fun fact about me, I don't know if you even knew this. I started college to be an early childhood educator. Um,
Oh
and I
no.
started doing that, I think, starting my sophomore year in high school. Um, I started taking classes for that, and then I would spend parts of my day at the local elementary schools with the young kids,
I
early
actually feel
childhood,
like you
which is,
have told me.
yeah. So I did all that, and I did learn in my studies how important play was. So now that I have Lily, I think I try to incorporate that, and get her little dishes out and play with her and things like that. In the same sense, I'm trying to incorporate her like in cooking and cleaning and things like that, because not only does she want to be with me, but again, it's just showing her things that she's really going to use for the rest of her life. Um, Even if she ends up a millionaire and has somebody to do it for her, to get there, she has to know how to do that.
Should be
So,
well rounded. Yeah. And it's part of humility. I think we all need humility in life, right? We all need to stay humble to the things that keep us grounded, and chores, that's what they do. They keep you
right,
grounded because you still have to do the things that maybe you feel are insignificant, but they make such a big difference in your
right.
mental health. Like, I've read even people that have a lot of anxiety, if they just make their bed, right, then their room feels a little cleaner, and that
Mm-hmm.
takes away some of that stress. And so
Right.
just things we don't even notice or realize that we're doing it. It's healthy to clean. I mean, even animals clean their
I
burrows,
know.
like
Yeah.
they clean their nest. I mean, I think we could do a little better. We're not animals. And so I think that's healthy. I
Right.
was going to ask you because there is definitely you have to have a balance in play, and so the way I play with JJ is so different from how my husband plays with JJ, and he plays with us accordingly, right? He's softer with me, he's sweeter, right? And with my husband, he'll tackle him, he'll stab him with his sword. I mean, they wrestle, they play sword fight, they're very rambunctious boys together. And
Right.
so, how is it with Lily as a girl and her dad? Is he rough with her too, or is he more gentle because that's his princess, or how
Um,
does that look like?
I think both. He still wrestles with her, plays with her. I think the funniest thing he does is like tickle her, and like he just tickles and tickles, and he goes, say dada," and she's just
Hmm.
cracking up. But in the same sense, like sometimes like she'll be playing and she comes up to him and just like wants to snuggle, or but I do think he's gentle with her because she is a girl, right? But he does wrestle with her, and he does, do fun and silly things like that. As did I with my dad, right? I had an older brother, so we were always wrestling, and I was, getting thrown around just like my brother was. And the same thing with Lily. I think since she was little, we throw her over our shoulder, and she loves to be upside down, that girl. So he's rambunctious with her, just like Julian is with little JJ, but probably not as
Rough.
crazy. Yeah, not
Yeah,
as rough because she
they're
is a girl.
super rough.
Now, in
Yeah.
the same
And
sense, like with me, and then he'll sit down and play tea party with her, or like she
mm,
takes out her little tea set and takes it to him, and he pretends to drink it, and like we haven't gotten big into the dolls yet, but um just recently got her little baby, and he pretends to have a baby, and she's jealous, so she gets the baby and throws it and sits on his lap and lays on him, but like he does the pretend play with her too.
I love
um
that.
and just he's an avid hunter, so he'll sit there and he'll watch hunting
I,
videos with her. And we had
I was gonna say she's gonna be a hunter though in the future, hands down, because this man, he goes out into the woods and will not return unless he has
an
something.
animal.
Yes, and I'm telling you, I go to their house and I'm like, oh my god, this is pet cemetery.
Yeah.
I tell.
Well, it's so funny because a couple years ago, I dressed as a hunter and he dressed as a deer. And so I bought a little pretend little shotgun, and
A toy.
yeah, a little toy. It's bright green, like it's a little Nerf gun. And we pulled it out the other day and she was loving it. And
That's
so,
when you were pregnant, right?
no, I wasn't pregnant yet when we dressed up
Oh.
like that. I wasn't
Oh,
pregnant yet.
okay.
Um, but we pulled that out, and then like after a while he was like, we need to hide this thing because this is all she wants to play with. But then she saw where I put it, so the next time that it's in our room, so the next time she was in our room, she went and she grabbed it and she gives it to me to load it for her so that she can play with dad with it, and it was just so
Hmm.
cute. And I'm like, see, like you just got to teach
It's
her early so
daddy's
that
little
she's,
girl. Yeah.
she knows. And even though, yeah, she is very much a like girly girl, very much a girly girl, it's hilarious, but she's also rambunctious and that likes to like, be a little brave and jump off things and climb things. And I'm like,
Yeah, she's our
oh,
wild
oh
child. We call her
girl.
the wild flower from the toddler group because JJ is rough now, but his first year he was very gentle and sweet and soft and just a sweet, sweet boy. And now he's getting to his wild where he's flipping over couches and
Yeah,
craziness. But Lily was kind of on the go as soon as she was born. She was quick. She was
she
like
hated
crawling
to
quick,
be like
walking quick. Yeah.
she hated laying down. She hated
Climbing everywhere.
I
She's
call
like
her
a
my
little
FOMO
monkey.
baby. She's
Oh.
didn't nap hard, like she'd nap like 10 minutes at a time. um it was really, really hard, but it was hard because I work from home, so there was no work getting done because she didn't sleep unless she was actually tied on to me. But yeah, she does that now. She sits on the edge of the couch and she looks at me and she does this little like and I'm like,
Hmm.
no, get over here. But she knows what she's doing. She's funny.
See, and our babies are so different, but we're still implementing chores and they've both
It's
excelled and
structure more than anything.
yeah,
Structure.
they've done good. Like I feel like JJ's like his dad was so proud because we changed his diaper today and he already knew. He like set up and he's like waits for me to hand it to him because I close it. And then he always goes, ew. And then he walks to the trash and like throws it.
Yeah.
And his dad was like just beaming with pride, like, oh, he's such a good boy. And I'm like, I
Oh,
know,
yeah.
he just wants to help out and I love it. So if you guys have any tricks and tips on what works for you, we would love to hear.
Or
If you
age
don't,
appropriate chores that you guys use for your kids, whether they're toddlers or 15, 16. What do you guys do?
yes, and if you don't believe kids should do chores, we want to hear about that too. We're in the learning phase of motherhood. I don't think you ever stop learning, with your kids. It's we're just ever evolving with them. And so if you guys don't believe in chores, tell us about it too. We want to hear about it. So, as usual, guys, catch us every Monday. We are on um, YouTube, Spotify, Apple
Apple
Podcasts. I
podcast.
couldn't remember. And you can find us. And again, thank you so much, Daisy. She is part of our toddler crew, and we are going to have her on as much as we can, as much as she's willing to come on. I love talking to her. I talk to her on the phone all the time. And so
At
this is
least
just
once a
us
week,
catching
at
up.
least.
At least, yes, at least. I'm telling you, we've known each other for over a decade. And so it is, I love having her on. I love talking. And we are
I
in about the
actually did the
same
math
phase.
on that the other day. I think we've known each other for over 15 years.
Oh my goodness. So we've literally grown up together.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were in our early 20s, and the
And
20s are
now we're
wild.
like well
In our
over
mid
or
30s, a little
mid
over mid
30s. We're
30.
just past
Yeah.
our mid 30s. So, yeah.
Yeah, we are gonna, and we're gonna get crazy in the 40s. Like I'm looking forward to it. And
We're gonna have
so
a good
this
time,
is,
girl.
yes, we are just, this is part of the sisterhood. And this is why, Steph and I started this to begin with, is to get everyone involved in the sisterhood that is motherhood, because we need each other in the different phases of life. So, again, thanks for coming on, Daisy.
You're
And you
welcome.
guys, we'll catch you next time.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, friends.
Living in the moment, it's the mom life.